So let's start by saying food. The food which comes to your table starts from the field, from the farm, and has a long journey before it gets to your plate. And along that journey, you have different stakeholders, different partners, different people contributing for the food to come to your table right. So that is called an ecosystem. And that ecosystem, everybody is contributing for you to have a healthy, nutritious, resilient food, and you have access on time and sufficiently. That food depends on rainfall, particularly in the African context. Rainfall variability and is also affected by climate change. It has been changing over the past decades, and unfortunately the continent is the one most affected because of the resilience which is less stronger than the other continents. The COP, which is the Conference of Parties, the 28th happening in United Arab Emirates, is a moment during the year where we come and discuss these key issues, which is climate change, that affects also our production system, our food, and the entire ecosystem that is around it. So it's very important that Africa is there to be part of the debate and make sure that that connection between food system and also the climate COP is well defined, and the narrative, the agenda of the African continent is well taken care, and resources needed are also captured to build the resilience of the continent. Yeah, the continent, in terms of numbers, Africa contributes to less than 4% of the global emission. So historically, from a justice perspective, we have not created the climate change, but we are the one suffering most, particularly smallholder farmers and those who are at the beginning of food system and the production of the food that can get to our household. So they are hit hard, and particularly youth and women. You know, our parents used to sow this period, now they don't know which period to sow. All of this is understanding, awareness, having the information and data. It's a big challenge because for you to negotiate well to this one, you need to come up with data information to build also system and program that will help you, change the direction and do business differently. And that's the second challenge. The third one is finance. So most of these African continent, whenever you have like a storm, or you have floods, you have drought, so it's a big loss. And unfortunately, when you are struggling to get your public resources on development, you need to direct it to emergency, and which you don't have. And yet, the resources from the international one is not coming as it was set, 100 billion a year to address and going to developing countries, particularly Africa. To now, those commitments from developed countries that have created and agreed under the Paris Climate Deal to pay since 2015, it is way low. So it's all a challenge to have it. The last one is more partnership. So the partnership is not only connection between those who are in the climate action and coming with the solution, but it's also partnership in terms of, technology, solutions, the know-how, and we know we have solutions, but this has to go at scale. We need to accelerate also those solutions. They need to be implemented in the proper way and reported as innovation on the way we also address both from adaptation and mitigation. So that's currently, I think, the main blocks in terms of the challenges, which currently is part of the agenda of the Africa at the COP. For Africa, adaptation has to be one of the highest agenda. We need to adapt. There is no way you can, it's not raining, you have to adapt. It is there. So mitigation has not been really our issue because we are not contributing too much. So there was a clear agenda. Now those negotiators are working, coming with data and information to make sure that this is implemented. So the way we organize ourselves into these meetings to make sure that those who are negotiating, technicians are coming with data, policy makers, leaders, presidents are there to voice the Africa position, particularly when it comes to food system, food security, is very, very important. This year we were very lucky because there was the Africa Climate Summit happening in Nairobi the same week as the Africa Food System Forum in Dar es Salaam. So what happened was the declaration on climate action from Nairobi has been integrated into the declaration on food system. So we narrow down and zoom into that paper and say, so climate resilient food system need to be there. So financial system, the global one, the global architecture need to be reformed. It has been also the call for all our leaders on the continent to make sure that this funding, the financial system is reformed and fundings are getting to those who are needed the most, particularly smallholder farmers and the young people and the women. But that resilient building obviously require adoption of technologies, innovation, etc. And it has a cost. And that's the resources, the call for more additional resources, and by the way, concessional resources. So all of this has been packaged to our declaration to make sure that when we are moving to the COP, we have also a strong voice, but also a strong position when it comes to food system transformation, particularly through the lens of resilience, climate resilience building.